Right now, I am going through a low motivation period, and in this video, I want to share with you all of the things that I'm doing to get through it. Because we all have periods of low motivation. We all have times when we're like, wow, I don't feel like doing even the bare minimum. Nothing in this video is going to be wildly revolutionary. Often it's not something revolutionary that'll get you out of your low motivation funk. It's something really simple and small that you already know, that you've already applied in the past. Number one, ask yourself the question, what are you willing to do? So this is a question that I have been asking myself so much for the last week. On days where I've felt more like sitting on the couch, watching New Girl all day. Instead of doing the things that I know that I should be doing, I will ask myself the question, what are you willing to do? And this is a question that you can kind of sit with and you can mull over. And it may be that you're willing to take a few first steps towards that task that you were supposed to do today. It may be that you're not willing to do the big cleanup of the house that you planned on doing, but you are willing to tidy up the bench. In moments where you're feeling low energy or feeling low motivation, ask yourself the question, what are you willing to do? And let yourself be guided by what your brain comes up with. You might start with the tiny task that your mind is willing to do in that moment, and that could lead to you doing the full task because you let yourself build up enough momentum to get to the point where you're willing to do that full task. Number two, parallel accountability. This name was a suggestion from Diana from the community. Shout out to Diana. One of the most helpful things that you can do, even right now, if you're not in a low motivation state, is to find yourself a parallel accountability partner. An example of parallel accountability. The other day, I was like, Amy, I don't feel like cleaning. Amy is my sister. And I said, do you need to clean your house? And she was like, yes. We live together in almost like a duplex. I opened the door that separates our spaces. I cleaned, she cleaned, we cleaned alongside each other. Parallel accountability where you and someone that cares about you work on something alongside each other is my favorite kind of accountability. And when you're demotivated, it is so helpful to have a parallel accountability partner. Pick someone in your life now, if you do not have them already, that can be your parallel accountability partner. There should be a person that you can text and be like, hey, I'm really struggling to do this. Or come over, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, we'll get our things done. Number three, task rotation. Sometimes when you're feeling really low energy, I feel like the hardest thing is actually sustaining your attention on one task for a long period of time. And that is where task rotation comes in. So task rotation is simply creating a little list of tasks that need to be done, putting on an interval timer, a little 10-minute interval timer. At the 10-minute buzzer, switch tasks, move through your list. The reasons that I love a little task rotation session are, firstly, they are really easy to start because you're like, well, I'm only dedicating 10 minutes of time to that thing. Way easier for your mind to accept versus I'm gonna sit for 4 hours and work on that. Secondly, it keeps you engaged. You're moving from one thing to another thing. You're making progress. You're getting little hits of like, yes, I'm doing things. Whether you're making that much progress or not, it really feels like you are. Once again, this is a good little momentum builder. Drop down to your lowest level routines, but still try to keep your routines in place. So if you're feeling low motivation and it's like, you know, it's a few days, it's going on, drop to your lowest level routines, but still try to keep some kind of routine going. So instead of dropping your whole fancy skincare routine, drop it down to just cleansing and moisturizing. So for example, for me, for the last few days, my morning routine has just been doing a bit of reading. Whereas usually I might read, I might do a bit of journaling, I might chuck in a bit of meditation. I've chosen to just passively read a book. Don't isolate no matter how much you feel like it. So I know for myself, if something difficult happens in my life, or if I'm just feeling generally unmotivated and sluggish, my leaning is towards isolation. So I'm like, okay, it's time to hibernate. But when you are feeling low, when you are feeling unmotivated, one of the best things that you can do is reach out for connection, even when you don't really feel like connecting. So sometimes this can be tough and you need to maybe reach out to people that you're closer with, that are maybe comfortable with you being lower energy. Adding social isolation on top of feeling generally unmotivated or going through a difficult time is only going to make things worse. You are only going to feel more low and more lonely. To help yourself move through low motivation, try making plans with people. Make them low-key plans if you really are feeling low energy, but make plans with people who make you feel fulfilled. Practice gentle exercise. Obviously, when you're feeling demotivated, the last thing that you feel like doing is exercise, but exercise can be one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So when you are feeling unmotivated, try practicing some kind of gentle exercise. Exercise doesn't feel like exercise. So my go-tos are things like couch workouts. You can literally YouTube couch workouts. If you don't have the energy to get yourself to go on a walk, try chucking on a song, walking on the spot for the duration of the song. We do this weird thing when we feel unmotivated where we drop all of the things that could possibly get us back to a point of feeling motivated. Instead, do the gentle, lowest level version of those things that you can possibly do. Utilize temptation bundling. Temptation bundling is one of my go-tos when I'm feeling demotivated, and you would have seen this on probably a lot of my life admin vlogs. A lot of the times I rarely feel motivated to cook myself food. I also know that when I have food cooked, I feel so much better for it. So I often am gonna chuck on a TV show while I cook. Get yourself one of these little phone stands so that you can put it on the kitchen bench and scroll through TikTok while you cook if that's your thing. You can do the exact same thing while you exercise, while you clean. The reason that I'm emphasizing getting the basic stuff done is that when you get the basic stuff done, it is a lot easier to bounce back to a more motivated state. Thus, when you wake up and you're like, I've eaten like crap for days, I haven't exercised, my house is a mess, you're just digging yourself into a hole and it makes it much harder to get out of. And temptation bundling is just a great way to get yourself to do those kind of tasks that are really basic but are often dropped when you're feeling like you have no motivation. Go back to what has worked before. I actually talked about this study in a recent video. Basically, they got a whole bunch of people. Half of the people they gave expert finance advice to. The other half of the people, they asked them the question, what's worked for you before when it comes to saving money? The people that they prompted with that question saved so much more than the people who were given expert financial advice. Right now, even in this video, I'm sharing with you things that have worked for me before when it comes to feeling demotivated. Hopefully, some of them resonate and align with things that have worked with you before. But you probably also have other strategies, tips, techniques that have worked for you really, really well in the past when you felt demotivated that have gotten you out of slumps. Ask yourself, what has worked for me before? A good thing to refer to if you've watched my channel for a little while is the ultimate guide to your happiness. This is a little list that you might have created if you've been here for a while that has a bunch of things on it that you know contribute to your happiness. Go back to that list or create that list if you haven't already and start going through those items, picking maybe one thing at a time and being like, okay, how can I reintegrate that back? If it's something that has been dropped, watch Do Things With Me videos. There's something about watching people get things done that is just really motivating. Someone who has good Do Things With Me kind of videos is Rachel Lee. She's an Australian YouTuber. Consider popping those videos on play. Maybe when you get home from work or maybe in the morning if you work from home. Don't have expectations that you're all of a sudden gonna be super motivated because you're watching those videos, but just put them on with no expectations. See how they make you feel. If you have any little routines that you've built in your life, and they could be weekly reset routines, monthly reset routines, daily reset routines, things that you've done multiple times that you kind of have a flow of, go back to those routines. Often you perform these routines at the start of a month, at the start of a week, and even if right now maybe it isn't the start of a month or the start of a week, they have the same psychological effect. When you do them, you'll feel refreshed and reset. And it'll almost take you back to that Monday feeling or that start of the month feeling. Moving forward from this week, I'm actually moving down to a once every 2 weeks upload, so I'm usually a once a week girl. But right now, I feel like I'm in a season of my life where I want to take that down a notch and work on some things in the background. And hopefully deliver even better videos for you guys on a fortnightly basis. If you liked this video, you are going to like my video on, I don't even know what it's called, but I know the particular video, and it is all about low motivation techniques, like in the moment things that you can do when you are feeling deeply demotivated. It's the perfect video to watch if that's where you're at right now. I'm gonna have that linked on the screen and down below. I appreciate you so very much, and I'll see you soon.